List. All right, Newcomer of the Year. Again, this is not just people who are, or things who are brand new. It's games, players, etc., who may be new, but maybe also they've been around, but they had a breakout year.
Right. And like you said, it doesn't have to be a person. It could be anything.
Anything.
Right? So my number 3, I really wanted to give it to a real, true breakout player, newcomer.
Okay.
So this was very recent. I gave it to Lost Soul.
Oh, that makes sense.
Who played in his very first tournament in Guilty Gear and won.
Right, that's ridiculous.
With Elfelt.
Yeah.
And then won like NLBC the next week and such. So, it's like I said, this is very relatively recent.
Right.
But he's basically what the Guilty Gear community described him as the smug of Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
That guy who played online and blew everybody up and then went to a tournament and blew everybody up. So to me, I really wanted to put a real newcomer on there. I felt like he was a good pick for that. So
I like it.
Lost Soul is my number 3.
I like it. My number 3 is Mortal Kombat X.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this before, basically why I like the game. It's not number 1 or number 2.
It's that compliment diss again,
yes,
right? Yeah. Okay.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Could have been super important. For 2 months there, a lot of people were playing MK, and they got a lot of entrants.
Right.
Between basically like May and June, more or less April, a lot of people were playing that game, and it seemed like, and in fact, for a while, it was the final game of a few tournaments.
Right,
it was like the one that they closed out with, because there were just so many people playing and watching it. But obviously that didn't last.
Yeah.
So maybe if people could play against each other, it would last. But maybe if they could go longer than a week without having to find out what's changed, they would. Anyway,
my number 2 is Rising Thunder.
Ah.
So I gave it to Rising Thunder because it is a new entry in the fighting game. But it's not just a new entry in the fighting game. They're really trying something very different.
Yeah.
And they're trying to go this free-to-play route with no commands and stuff like that. And this is me speaking as a person who likes execution. I really do like what they're trying to do. And there's still execution in the game. Like, they still have the kinetic advance combos and, there's still some, tough links to get in that game and stuff like that. So they're trying to remove that barrier of the control entry and produce this game that a lot of different people can play. I'm really curious to see how it's going to do when it comes out and how it can affect the landscape. But we have had lots of stories already of people who are like, this is the first fighting game I felt like I've ever been able to play. And so I feel like this is a really important entry into the fighting game scene. And again, if I had my way, every game would be in every major. It's tough, and it's a crowded scene.
Yeah.
And, it's tough for me to honestly be like, I'm glad we have a new franchise, because then I just know that just means more headbutting and stuff like that. But I feel like that this one kind of has an important role, so I gave it to Rising Thunder.
Sick. All right, my number 2. My turn, right? Yeah. Yeah. Keoma.
Oh, okay.
From Brazil.
Okay.
Again, he's not a new player.
Right.
But this was his breakout on the international stage.
Right. Keep in mind, last year, I had Pepadai as number 1, even though he's been playing forever.
Right, of course.
It's breakout kind of thing. Yeah.
For a long time, people from Brazil have been saying that we need to watch Keoma. Mm-hmm. And it's been rare that we've been able to get a chance. I mean, I've seen him on streams a few times. Literally a few.
Right.
Until, this year. But, man, when he beat Haitani, you could see that he was super strong. Very, very strong.
Yes.
And then when he traveled and he got the DreamHack and he beat Luffy and he got whatever place he got, some super far spot, everybody was like, oh, this is for real. You got to really take this guy seriously. Or wait, maybe it was the one before DreamHack. I forget which tournament it was, but there were a couple in Europe. And then, of course, the Capcom Cup. I mean, he showed up there and did better than most people who showed up, who we've known about for a long time, and have seen a lot of for a long time.
Yeah, so. He didn't go 0-2 like Bonchan or Nemo.
Exactly. Yeah. So I have a lot of respect for that guy. And I hope that we see a lot more of him. I know it's tough for him to travel, considering visa concerns.
But he got it. Finally got it. That was the cool thing. So, my number 1 is Keoma.
Okay.
So, one of the coolest...
What's your number 2?
I did my number 2.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Okay, my number.
Oh really? So you're okay.
Yeah,
right,
my
cool.
number 1 is Keoma.
Cool,
My number
cool,
1.
cool.
The coolest thing about it too was, you know, he's this great player, all this stuff. He was getting all this attention for Capcom Cup, and when he showed up to the Sony PlayStation Experience, he was the biggest fighting game fan. Like, he walked up to Flo and was like, "Can I get a picture with you?" No, I don't remember. No, Flo wasn't there.
No.
There was somebody. Who did you, like, I had, like, a bunch of people tell me, like, Kim was like, "Can I take pictures with you?"
Yeah.
Oh, I think it might have been Joe or somebody like
Okay.
that. But he was, like, he was legit just excited and happy to be there and everything like that. Super nice guy.
For sure.
So, really, really cool. And then, you know, just did awesome. And, like I said, pixels away from sending Shen into loser's bracket and have him a Shen who finished 3rd place, keep in mind, right? So pixels away from sending him to loser's bracket. Keoma, I mean, I was so happy to see him do well because a lot of people have been, you know, talking smack about Brazil when Shushu came here and went 0-2 and stuff like that. So I was really glad to see him blow up a bunch of people, even though one of them was Snake Eyes in the first round, you know, but, you know, Snake Eyes made it through the loser bracket, so it's okay. I don't have to be salty about it. So
yeah. No, I was conflicted in that match because I wanted them to both to win.
Yeah,
I thought that would have been cool either way.
It was one of my most pained first round matchups at that event.
That's funny.
Sure. Yeah.
That's funny. I thought about saying Rising Thunder, but instead I said Tekken.
Oh, okay,
Tekken
okay,
7,
okay,
Tekken
okay,
7.
okay.
I'm really excited for what that game might be able to do. It's not available in a wide sort of format across much of the world yet, so I don't really think that we can say, but certainly once it's out on console, it's supposed to come out for PlayStation this year. Look, that slowdown at the end of rounds, even though that's like not that big of a deal, right? But it just makes you think that the game looks so much cooler and like it's so much more exciting.
It's so hype.
Yeah, and for a long time, the criticism for Tekken was that it wasn't that exciting to watch if you didn't know what was going on. But anybody can get hype, I feel, at the end of a round when that happens.
Yeah.
So
sick.
I just really want Tekken to do well. It seems so strange to me that Tekken is not one of the big 3 or 4 games, because it always was for a long time. And I really hope that this game can do it. Yeah, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. I think that game, it just has so much potential next year, and they've made it easier for newcomer players and stuff like that. It's kind of like how I felt about Exert. I do feel like this game has this potential to really blow up next year. So, okay.
All right.
Well, do you want to take another break before we continue, or do you want to just keep going?
Yeah, let's keep going. It's fine.
Okay. Okay, no problem. So,
all right,
random
select.
So this is just stuff we want to mention.
Yeah.
This is just stuff we want to mention.
Yeah.
What's your number 3?
My number 3. What is it? I think I might have gotten something mixed up here. So why don't you go first while I sort this out?
Oh, okay.
There's a little list got
okay.
run over.
If you can get it all working, then you can do like 2 in a row. Then
okay, sure.
Okay, so my number 3, I mean, kind of in that worst of category, was, and I just felt like this was such a crucial thing that happened in the fighting game community, which was MKX's blunder, NetherRealm's blunder. I mean, this is where I brought it up. This is where I wanted to mention it, because before that and Smash Wii U came out, notice I didn't say Brawl this time.
Good work.
Smash Wii U came out. I kept saying the games that can take down Street Fighter are Mortal Kombat and Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers Wii U is kind of on that path to do really well, right? It might not overtake Street Fighter, probably won't, but it's obviously succeeding. MKX, like you said, ECT was it was the last game, you know, a whole bunch of events, it was the last game. And there was so much potential, but then the netcode was terrible. The PC version, people couldn't play it. They canceled the 360 and the PS3 version when a bunch of people were like, I'm just going to wait for that one. I mean, NetherRealms literally just had this gold mine. I mean, just like, I just want to say, like, the tighter they squeeze, the more star systems will slip through their fingers. You know, I mean, it literally, that's how it felt to me. They had all this, and they just didn't seal the holes properly, and all the sand just fell right out from under them. And the whole landscape of the fighting game community could be significantly different than it is had that not happened.
I think so. For a while, I mean, even random streams were getting 4 or 5 digit viewers for a while.
They had a
Rip.
tournament that was based on online play. All planned out before the game came out. ESL, and their online doesn't work. Oh, God.
I remember when at the opening ESL, not the opening even, before the game came out.
Yeah.
That ESL tournament, we found out even before the public knew that there were going to be these online events. And man, I walked over to a couple of NRS guys and I was like, guys, it better be better than last time. It better be better than Injustice and MK9.
Yeah.
And they were like, I mean, I was talking to like the marketing reps.
Yeah,
like, what do they? They don't know. They're in the same position I am.
Right.
Basically. So, but yeah, rip.
Well, did you get it sorted?
I didn't. I think I accidentally pasted over something, and I'm not sure what it was now. So I'm just gonna skip on and try to think of something else. So.
Oh, okay. So you want to just do your number 2?
Yeah,
then?
my number 2 one is shout outs to FGC Media. This is something that you sort of brought up earlier, but I really wanted to address how happy I am that there are people who are writing about fighting games legitimately. Red Bull is a great one, but even on top of that, it just feels like when you read about a new game, when we've read about Street Fighter V, right, IGN even, whatever, they have competent people.
Yes. Okay.
It's not the case that you have to read about the new Brawler and the new Beat 'em Up and what's. You remember like forever we were having to deal with this nonsense.
And then the
people didn't understand.
The media guy using the character and just going, and then you hear Seth in the background going, wait, walk over to me, jump at me, jump at me so I can show you.
Yes. Yeah, that was awful. I'm glad that is over. But it feels like all the big. Video game news outlets have legit fighting game people who can really cover it. Red Bull is a big one. Sure, you can has had a lot of good articles on it. The videos from Red Bull as well. Esteban's movie.
Oh, that's coming out soon.
Out soon. It just feels like there's a lot of stuff now that you can pay attention to and not feel like they're just screwing around as you're reading it. You don't have to read stupid stuff anymore. That's great. Even something that like is, it sounds so simple, but it was always such a stupid and frustrating thing for me to read about the new Street Fighter Brawler game or the new Tekken beat 'em up. People just don't understand. It was so crazy. But anyway, that time is over.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I'm actually really impressed. So you linked that article, that Forbes article earlier today.
Yeah.
About the Activision MLG acquisition, and he was like, "Why do we need to be on TV? Who cares?" And I'm just really surprised that a lot of these outlets do have really the people that really understand it. You'd think that the Forbes guy would be writing like, there's some video games that people are playing, but this was a really well-written article that was there. So
look, video game people, we're in our 30s now, all right? some of them are a little bit ahead of that.
Right.
But there are many of us in our 30s or 20s, etc. People who can write reasonably at this point, so and want to read reasonable things and watch reasonable things too. So.
Well, my number 2. So, I mean, again, there's a lot of there's a lot of great accomplishments in the fighting game community, right? And so one accomplishment from a player that I really did have to mention was that you can play a 1st to 10 and lose 0 and 13. So you had it as one of the stories, I had it as one of the random selects, and obviously you can't go without mentioning that because
in any 2015 retrospective,
gotta
be in there.
The blow-ups are real, and I mean
super real.
Like I talked about already, it was just so cringeworthy, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to say I'm happy it happened because I feel bad for Carl, but I'm happy it happened. Because it's just a great story. It's just it's a really neat story to have happen, and it's just fun to talk about, and it's something that we will remember for a very long time.
Yes,
so,
we will, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. My number 1 is something you are already also sort of addressed.
Okay.
Excuse me. Developers who care.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
It's nice to have developers who care. And when I mean who care, I don't just mean about the gameplay itself, because that's always been the case, but I mean about the FGC and the people who are playing and how they play.
Right.
Okay, so I'm thinking of Capcom doing good work on not only Capcom Cup, but also on SF5 Beta, making sure that the online works well. I'm thinking of Iron Galaxy building in, combo assist mode for KI for people who are having trouble doing all the motions that you have to do, and coming out with very interesting characters and really paying attention to what the community says, and Microsoft and them supporting the Killer Instinct Cup and whatever.
Yeah.
All those things. Namco doing stuff for Tekken, like you said. Like even Arc Systems put Gear on Steam. Even that.
Right.
Like that's. I think that's great. Like I feel like we're just finally this time where you don't have to sort of just play the game and figure everything else out on your own. You can finally have the developers or publishers who are trying to make it so that you can play games in tournaments.
Right. Okay.
Sweet.
Cool. Well, this is the Random Select Award, Ryan. So my number one. So now that we are going more esports,
okay.
Obviously one of the things that we have to deal with is sponsorships now.
Okay.
Right? And I just wanted to give an award to the best product promotion of the year.
Okay.
Vin Scully, weaving in sponsorship into commentary.
I see. Okay.
I want to give a shout out to Holy Totinos, which was the greatest thing ever.
Okay.
That was such genius crafting and weaving in there.
Oh,
In fact, it was so good that I decided that you do deserve an award.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I have an award here for you. I have...
No, I hear crinkling. Why?
my very own bag of Totinos.
Thanks, James.
For Mr. UltraDavid for the Holy Totinos.
Thank you. Hey, they're even cheese.
I got the cheese flavor. There you go. So
I'm looking for that but I don't see it. All right, that's fine.
So shout out. So that's my number one award to Mr. UltraDavid for Holy Totinos. There you go. Oh man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so let's do personal resolutions.
Okay, I guess I'll go first because I didn't have a third last time.
Oh, okay, sure, no problem.
Let's see. Number 3. Play games that I like. Continue doing that.
Okay.
Continue doing that. There have been times when I have tried to play just games that were new or that I was commentating. Sometimes I don't care about those games that much. And I'd often get back into them. That's how it's been. For a while I hated Marvel. And I got back into Marvel for a while. And now I like it. I like watching it. Third Strike even I hated for a while. But in fact I got back into it because of the 2012 25th anniversary tournaments. And I had to learn it again. And I did. And I was like, oh, I love this game. But it's nice to just keep on playing games that you do like to sort of sustain yourself through games that you might not love as much. Not that I have to play games, but I really enjoy traveling around and commentating, and I'd like to do that. I expect that I'll like SF5 because so far I'm cracking out on it.
Yeah.
But you never know. You never know. It might suck. And it's gonna be the same with other games. I expect that I'll like Tekken. Maybe I'll hate it. Who knows?
Right.
But I'll always have Super Turbo and Threes and whatever else to back me up. So.
Yeah.
Shout outs to old games. I
kind of have a similar one, but it's more, I guess, kind of like what you did last year, actually. I want to learn more games. I felt like this past year, Street Fighter was really the only fighting game that I really kept up with. I felt like I kind of dropped out in a lot of different ways. At first, I was trying to keep up with Mortal Kombat. I didn't keep up with that and stuff. I've actually... This past week or so, I've actually been doing a lot of KI studying. I've actually been reading up a lot of... Dude, let me also give a random shout out to Infilament. His KI guy is ridiculous.
Okay,
I mean, it's pretty much how I would have wanted to write an FAQ a long time ago with interactive stuff. Dang. I mean, he has a combo breaker in game... In the super combo breaker. You know how all the supers have 5 hits?
Yeah.
And so you have to break it with the 3 timing? Yeah. He has it so that every character super is there and you can play it and hit the spacebar at the timing to practice breaking the timing for all the supers in there.
Dang.
Yeah, he even has
that's legit.
Damage. If you click on damage, it'll rank all the characters in damage. It shifts all the graphs and then all the bars sort by themselves. Dude, there's just ridiculous.
I didn't know he programmed stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's
there's
amazing.
just ridiculous stuff on there. So I definitely want to learn Chaos. Obviously, I want to learn as much Exert as I can.
Sure.
And when Revelator comes out, I mean, I'm obviously going to try to study up on it a lot before that comes out. But once Revelator comes out, hopefully Johnny will be able to get me really, really back into the game. I'm really interested in learning a lot more about Smash 4, about Tekken 7, if Uniel ST comes out this year, which, hopefully it does, because apparently it's going to be at that all-access, tournament that's coming up in February.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff. I want to get back into it, because before we used to commentate a lot of different games. Yeah. Now it just feels like I wouldn't commentate other games because I don't feel qualified for it. And I really feel like I've kind of dropped off in that way, so I definitely want to get back into a lot of other games.
I know what you mean in part, because I feel like this year I only commentated Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, which is not ideal. I want to be able to do more. That's all.
Yeah.
Time was I would do Marvel, and there was even a time when I was learning BlazBlue, and I just didn't keep that up. So that's definitely something to do as well.
Okay.
My number 2. Hang out with FGC folks more. I just didn't do it, almost at all, the whole year. Seriously. It would be these Tuesday night things, and then I would see somebody in Philadelphia who I hadn't seen in Southern California for half a year. I just think that's pretty silly.
Yeah.
So I want to do a better job of hanging out with folks and keeping in contact.
Yeah, that's my life.
That's your life one? Yeah.
That's my life one, because I mentioned on Twitter before that I hermited myself this last year, and I kind of want to get away from that. I want to get back into hanging out with people and trying to be more social and stuff like that. Dude,
there's Henry in there saying sing karaoke with us. I'll do it. I'm terrible, but I'll do it. Why not? That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
All right.
Okay, my number 2 resolution is I'm going to teach this year.
Okay.
I am dedicating myself to doing more first attacks this year.
Nice.
Because Street Fighter V is coming out. I really, really want to help this new generation of fighting game players that's going to crop up in learning this game and in trying to keep them in there. And I want to do it in a way, too, that it's not just here's Street Fighter V, here's how to play Street Fighter V. It's going to be here's Street Fighter V, here are the things about it. But here are these other fighting games, too, that you can apply these things to. You know what I mean? And so I really want to make sure that I really work hard this year to teach people. I really want to address the newcomers this year, and that's definitely something that I really, really want to focus on.
That sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good. My number 1 is improved commentary and business. I still feel like I can improve a lot in commentary. And I think I can do a better job, probably in most particular, of being more varied.
Okay.
In diction and in just sort of how I'm acting, maybe. But on top of that, as I mentioned before also, and you mentioned, more games. So I want to do all of those things. But I also want to do more of the delayed hyper commentaries that I put up on YouTube sometimes. Cool. Especially, shoutouts, Cooperation Cup coming up for Third Strike on the 10th. And that's going to be a blast. So I'm looking forward to that and seeing if I can do a sort of delayed hyper commentary afterward on it. All those things. But on the business side, too, I want to be a little bit more proactive about trying to find, tournaments and potential sponsors for this shindig that we have going and all those things. So.
Okay, cool.
Yay, business.
Yeah, well, you mentioned improving commentary. I should give you a thumbtack or something, so that every time I say stuff and such like that, or if I say, you can stab me in the leg so I can stop doing.
That sounds like a blast.
I just got to keep thinking about it. My number 1, I have intentionally left blank. Because I'm in this weird position right now. I know I've talked to you about it. But I'm trying to figure stuff out, and what I need to do for the fighting game community may change drastically depending on how I decide to carry out my 2016. Let's just put it that way.
I see. Okay.
So honestly, I don't know what the number 1 will be. So I know I'm being super vague to people.
That's quite vague.
I'll hopefully be able to figure out a lot more stuff. Look, I'm old enough to have a legit midlife crisis, okay? This is a legit when I'm saying I'm going through a midlife crisis, this is legit midlife crisis. And there's not a coincidence that it's happening this year, because this is a very significant age change for me.
Right.
So for sure, I just need to figure stuff out. And once I do, then I'll let you know what my number one is. So
sounds good. All right, yeah. Well, I hope it works out. Whatever you plan on doing, man. Okay. Well, I guess that's it for our review of 2015.
Yeah. I know you wanted to mention something about, stories to watch or things that you think can potentially happen in 2016. And had I more time to think about it, I think that would have been a cool category.
Right.
Was there anything in particular you wanted to mention?
I didn't create a full list for that because we decided not to do the whole thing. But, I think probably the biggest thing for me to watch is which games we'll be playing in... Maybe not 6 months, but maybe 9 months.
Oh, interesting.
Well, it's just that EVO's going to have to pick its games pretty soon. And so the list of games that will be played in like big tournaments is probably going to be like mostly decided by the end of this month or whenever they announce their games for EVO. But those games aren't always the ones that survive until the second half of the year. So I'm really interested to see which ones we play in 9 months. Are we still going to be playing Ultra Street Fighter 4 in 9 months? Which sort of ArcSys game are we going to be playing? I mean, I don't know. Or is Undernight going to be out? Are we going to be playing that instead, or what? Well, what anime or Air Dasher is Killer Instinct going to grow? Because it might.
That's right. Because it's coming out on PC.
Yeah, it's coming out on PC, and that might really do a good job of pumping it up. And the combo assist mode might help people out. I mean, I really think that's something to watch. Is Tekken going to make a comeback? I feel like there's all these questions, and I don't really know. I assume that we're going to be playing Street Fighter 5, but maybe the game sucks. Who knows? I mean, it's a possibility. Maybe it cross-Tekkens itself.
Right.
Who knows?
Right.
So I really think that all that stuff is up in the air in a way that is more of a question mark this year than in most years. Even though in some recent years we've had lots of fighting game releases, it feels more like a question mark to me this time than in years past.
I've said that 2016 is very much a make or break kind of year, and a lot of that does have to do with Street Fighter V. Now, I don't think Street Fighter V is the pariah of fighting games. I don't think it's gonna be the game that makes us successful or whatever like that. But it's just it plays a more important role than any other game right now because it is in the forefront. Capcom Cup is making the most news and headway, and it's a brand new game coming out. It's the most recognizable franchise. If you go to people on the streets and you ask them, do you know who Kazuya and Heihachi are? If you ask them, do you know who Soul and Chip are? Or if you go up to them, do you know who Ryu and Chun-Li are? Not a lot of people are going to know Ryu and Chun-Li, but definitely more are going to know those two characters than all the other ones, right? So Street Fighter V is definitely in that position to really kind of break us through the next level. I don't expect it to be the game that's going to make the fighting game community succeed. I just imagine it as the game that can break this current barrier that we're at. You know what I mean? Because we're, like you said, we're esports now.
We're already esports.
Right. We've hit this transition period, and we need to hit this transition period hard and fast, basically. And Street Fighter V is the one that can take us through that wall as strong as possible. Now, what game does everything afterwards? Who knows, right? It could be Smash, right? It could be, who knows? What if Exerd becomes super popular because it was on ESPN first, right? I mean, who knows what will happen?
Yeah.
But for me, Street Fighter V is the wrecking ball that will get us into that next section. And so this upcoming year is such a crucial year.
It's a year that I expect many more people to join the FGC in. Because that's what happened with Street Fighter 5 or Street Fighter 4.
Right.
And maybe it's not a perfect analog to this situation, but I do think that there will be a significantly increased number of entrants for SF5. And like with 4, I expect that will filter out to other games. A lot of people picked up 4 who ended up being Marvel players or NRS players or whatever. They switched to other games once they found out about the scenes. And I think that will probably happen with Street Fighter 5. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
and again, Street Fighter 5 could NRS itself as well. And
Totally
have,
could.
And have really bad netcode.
What if the netcode's terrible?
Right.
What if the PC release is garbage? I mean,
Right.
these things are unlikely because they've been having an open beta.
Right, yeah, that's true.
And I know that during that open beta, at one point I played against somebody who was ranked like 55,000th, which maybe means that there were 55,000 people playing, which is a lot more people than were playing in like the private server tests for MKX. Before that game came out, there were people who said, "Oh yeah, I played a server test or whatever, and it was great." But they were like, you know,
yeah, there was no traffic.
nobody. Yeah, exactly. So that seems unlikely to me for SF5, but you never know.
Yeah, someone asked that question as well. It's an important question. What if story mode and single player content is garbage in Street Fighter 5?
It's going to be garbage.
Right.
Fact.
And
expect it to be garbage.
Right. So that could also hurt a lot of casuals as well, which is why I definitely want to go the teaching route and why I really want to help people. Like I want it so that if you go to YouTube and search how do I play Street Fighter 5, that a definitive video that says how do you play Street Fighter 5 comes up, and that's what I kind of want to do.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. I would love it if it had a better single player mode like SF5. Like MKX. And in some sense, I feel like maybe I'm being too harsh about MKX because definitely the priority for them was to have the single player stuff, which they did a great job on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the better, single player story modes. Not just story mode, but like the crypt underneath. All that stuff was awesome.
Dude, I actually cracked
They did a
out
good
on
job.
the crypt.
Yeah, I did too, actually. Yeah, I thought all that stuff was good. But it's definitely not the priorities that lead to it being a successful game in competitive play. Well, the gameplay was fine. That's not the issue. Anyway, we've already talked about what the issues are.
Yeah.
I remembered what my Random Select Award third place
Oh,
was.
okay.
It's that I feel like we're growing up. Yeah, and that was sort of supposed to go in with like the media and so forth.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like the scene is, and it's not all old people obviously in the scene. There's plenty of people in their teens and early 20s, but the scene as a whole, I feel like, is doing a much better job at maturing. We're like tackling internal problems better, and we're running better tournaments, and we're now the people who are involved with the development of games and with the advertising of games and all of those things. And I think that's pretty great. I'm really happy about that.
Yeah.
I'm really happy about that.
Because before, when you got to a certain age, you just left the fighting game community because there was just nothing left to do.
Yeah.
But now it feels like a lot of people are sticking around, and a lot of people are doing a lot of great things for it. So
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
My worst, can I just tell you what my worst would have been?
Yeah. Okay, sure.
All right. So number 3 would have been bad business, like with EGL Dallas ending up not paying out.
Yeah.
There are still things like that happen sometimes. It still happens every now and then. What was the name of Kazunoko's team that he was on for like a month?
Zeveron.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
That sucked. There are a few things like that. So that sucked. Right. Number 2 would have been 13-0.
Yeah.
Number 1 would have been the death of the Xbox One as a fighting game console. It's dead. There was only one hope, and it's moving.
Yep. And to another platform, which means it might finally get players.
Exactly.
That is not a good sign, yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Dude, I was on stream recently when I was on testing it, and I started talking about the Xbox One, and everyone was so surprised at how negative I got, because I'm usually all, like, try to be positive, dude. Like, seriously, that thing is my Netflix and my Twitch viewer for my TV. That's all it is. Which I can replace with a Chromecast.
That's what I use.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that. Chromecast
for a tenth of the price, literally.
Yeah. But I have to use it for something. Also, to be honest with you, Tomb Raider is exclusive on it for... Well, actually, it's coming out on the PC soon, so that exclusivity didn't last very long. It is my Rock Band machine, and I can play Ori the Blind Forest on PC as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, it's Rock Band. It's my Rock Band Netflix.
Machine. I'm not saying it's a bad console in general. I feel like there are... I don't even know. Maybe there are games for it. I'm not sure. But It's not a fighting game console in this
No,
generation.
No, it's done. Which is so sad because the 360 was
the one.
Like I bought all these old school fighting games like Garou and Samurai Showdown 2 because I just wanted it to be my fighting game in a box.
Sure.
And yeah, the Xbox One just did not continue that legacy.
Yeah, as I was saying, I'm sure there are games for it. It's not a bad console. I was like,
Cuphead.
Actually, yeah, right, Cuphead.
Oh, but that's coming
Fantastic.
out on PC as well, I think.
Is it also? It probably is.
Yeah. So.
Oh no, wait. I think you're right.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then yeah.
See, because that's the thing. If there are games, it's not that it's devoid of games. It's that when it has games, you can also play it on the PC.
Right. Exactly. So.
Rip.
Yep. Okay. Well, was there anything else, or did you want to just call it a night and then next week we continue again? You know, before we call it a night, let me bring something up here. Let me bring up the FGC calendar so we can talk about anything that's coming up this weekend.
Smart.
Because I definitely don't want to miss that. I don't want to miss that on important
This
things.
weekend is the Cooperation Cup.
As you mentioned, oh yeah, and we should also mention this week is also Awesome Games Done Quick.
Oh, yeah. Why are you watching us? Thanks. I appreciate it, but...
Yeah, exactly.
Very nice of you.
But Awesome Games Done Quick. I haven't had a chance to watch any of it yet.
Really?
Yeah, because remember, I can't get Twitch at my work, which is really a bummer on it. So, and then when I come home, I want to watch some archives. I actually want to watch the... I just saw that.
It's already
so
a
awesome.
meme.
Yeah, it's a meme now. Okay. I really wanted to watch the Splatoon 1 player speedrun.
Oh, it was sick.
Oh, yeah? Oh, dude. Oh, I can't wait. Okay.
Yeah, it was cool.
Okay.
That's what it started with.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That was the first game up.
So this weekend has the Co-op Cup. Like you said, that begins at 7 p.m. on Friday.
So there's a pre-Cooperation Cup tournament, which I think what you're talking about. That's on Friday.
Oh, you're right. It is the pre one. Okay.
Yeah. And then on Saturday is going to be the actual 14th Cooperation Cup with a ton of teams.
Nice. Okay.
Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
Apparently, there's also CEO Winter. Well, actually, hang on a second.
What was the?
Yeah, Cooperation Cup is going to be streamed on twitch.tv/GameNewton.
There you go.
So definitely check that out. Same thing with the pre-event as well. It's going to be streamed on the same thing. CEO Winterfest is taking place this weekend as well. This is in Orlando, Florida, of course. This will be streamed on twitch.tv/CEO Gaming. They will have Ultra Street Fighter 4, UMVC3, MKX, KI, and Guilty Gear Xrd on there. Again, that's twitch.tv/CEO Gaming. Excuse me. What the heck is this? There's an event called Fraud's Garden.
That's funny.
That's taking place in Virginia. It looks like
Okay.
it's all anime event. Will be on twitch.tv/F_swipes. Right. So it'll be Xrd sign with a $150 pop bonus. BBCE, Uniel, Persona 4, Dengeki Bunko, Fighting Climax Ignition, Skullgirls Encore, Melty Blood Actress Again Current Code, plus Guilty Gear Plus R, and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Of course.
Which is an anime game.
That's right.
See, what else do we have here? We have something called the Tokai Cup that is taking place, I'm assuming, in Japan. It's in Nagoya.
Virtua Fighter.
It's a Virtua Fighter 5-on-5 team tournament at Club Sega. It is going to be on twitch.tv/Tokai Bay, which is TOKAIBAY. So that's another thing that's coming up. And then also, let's see what else here. There's an NVC ranking battle. This might just be a weekly, actually.
Yeah. It's ST.
Yes, ST GameSpot Versus, which is on twitch.tv/game_versus.
Okay.
So there you go. So that's the events coming up this weekend. So definitely check those out. I will try to do something to make our title card less sportsy, I guess. I'll come up with a different background material or something.
Because I was just thinking the other day, I pay attention so much less to sports now than I did even a year ago, which even at that point was already less than I had in the past.
So if you guys are wondering what we're talking about, this is
Look at that. So that's supposed to be a center ice, right?
Yeah, Because I just felt like it was totally unfair that it was so basketball-y and not enough hockey. So
Right. I do dislike
hockey.
basketball. It's true.
Uh-oh, did our thing crash? Please tell me our thing didn't crash. Can people in the chat still hear us? Can people in the chat still hear us? Can people in the chat still hear us? Did this really... Oh, what the heck just happened? That was so weird. Okay. I have no idea. What happened.
We now hear that you guys could hear us. Unfortunately, there's a big delay.
Yeah, okay.
Even though we have selected the less delay option in Twitch, but it's not perfect. Not perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I didn't watch any bowl games for football, even though Cal was playing in one. Isn't that weird?
I really wanted to watch Kobe's last season. Then the season started, and I was like, I can't watch this.
I heard that they're undefeated in 2016.
They did win 3 in a row, but they played Golden State today. I don't know what the result is, but I'm pretty sure they got blown up because Stephen Curry is just, he's not human. He's not human.
I should just say this to Spawn of Odd. I'm not playing on PC as UltraDavid. You did not play against my Geef or my Hakan. How weird that whoever plays as UltraDavid plays my exact characters. Nobody plays Geef and Hakan.
Well, that's why they're doing it, you know, right?
Shoutouts to whoever that is for being a pretty good imposter.
It's the same guy. Because whenever he plays as me, he uses Cammy all the time.
Right. That's a very wide breadth of characters.
He's also played as Liquid Knuckle Dew. He's played as...
With Guile, right?
Yeah, he's played as a bunch of different people, so...
Yeah, it's weird. Lakers lost by 21.
Yep.
All right, rip. Well, is that about it for tonight? I guess we'll talk about actual stories and stuff next week.
Yeah.
Because there's some stuff to talk about over the past couple weeks.
For sure. So, but yeah, we'll come back, and again, we'll keep trying to do stuff to keep, improving the show and everything like that. If you have any suggestions or any comments, follow us on UltraChenTV on Twitter and let us know. So.
Okay, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Peace.